I'm Ellen Heed, founder of STREAM. STREAM stands for Scar Tissue Remediation, Education, and Management. I believe that scar tissue is the unacknowledged cause of too much human suffering, whether it's physical scar tissue, existential scar tissue, or emotional scar tissue. So I developed STREAM as an advanced professional training for healthcare practitioners of all sorts. STREAM gives providers the tools they need to address scars effectively and amplify human potential as a result. I'm so proud of the work that STREAM graduates are doing that I made a video series to highlight their accomplishments. In this clip, I interview my friend and STREAM collaborator, Rachel Fell. Rachel and I met while she was in the throes of a massive positive disintegration. Our friendship grew into a close, co-creative effort that radically changed STREAM as we worked intentionally and intensively to add deep intrapersonal work to the STREAM program. This video is called Where Am I Now? AKA How Rachel Works. We talk about how Rachel developed her work with neurodivergent individuals and others as an existential coach and strategist. We explore dissociation as a defense and how Rachel works with scar tissue, but in a hands-off way, using language as her primary tool. Feeling states are crucial for these explorations, as is slowing down sufficiently to allow those feeling states to come to light. We talk about the nature of existential coaching, identity, and the manifestation of one's dreams as a path to human potentiation. The art of learning to see in the dark brings sub and unconscious places to light, so clients learn to trust their bodies as barometers for truth. Listen up and enjoy. Thanks for listening. It's almost like developmental landmarks as somebody goes through working with you. You hold the map because of your own experience, because it's based on an analysis and a conversation back and forth with me and other people around where am I now and what's happening and how do we identify these places that maybe don't have a lot of accurate language to describe them. How do we now say, oh, well, this is where you are, you're at this place. If you're at this place, well, what do you notice and how can we contextualize it? How can we make meaning so you can land and include your body at this place instead of this being another excuse to dissociate, right?
Yeah. And that's exactly it. I understand that my way of working with scar tissue hands off energetically through language is, it's the exception that in some ways like proves STREAM. So many STREAM graduates are doing physical hands-on body work, which is so important. And like I honor and I wish I had STREAM practitioners in my immediate visage, but as such, I'm just gonna have to like come do an immersion with you, right?
Mm.
I'm doing existential emotional scar tissue work.
Yes.
And I am using my full body. I am, I think we've spoken about as I have opened up and slowed things down and been with my somatic experience that I really feel in shapes. I sense in shapes. So I'm taken in the dark to these invisible nexus points of meaning and association connecting. And I can zoom in and zoom out and take people with me through the language, through metaphor, through analogy, through, kind of like understanding the languages they speak, the things they're interested in, what they're oriented to. So we can kind of like together go towards these nexus of emotional existential scar tissue and slowly kind of like, the analogy in body work would, palpation or titration, right? We can kind of pull those apart together.
Well, you're creating an ability to tolerate, to be with, an ability to explore, an ability. I think that the operative words here are to slow down, to slow down and examine where you are or where your client is and feel. Dare we use the F word? And I don't mean it's another 4-letter F word, but dare we use the feel word? As part of how it is to be in this place, because that necessarily then involves embodiment, and embodied autonomy has been a big pillar of STREAM, but also a pillar of the work that you do. I mean, I consider your work a flavor of STREAM, but you're taking it into directions and developing it beyond the STREAM context, because it's not only about scars, then it becomes about identity and ultimately into potentiation or manifestation in your coaching work, right?
100%.
That's true for STREAM too, but that's sort of like a very advanced level of stream. A lot of people are looking to stream to just get out of pain. Great, we
Yeah.
can take you out of pain, but there's so much more. You're living in that very creative, you could call it an infinity symbol of reciprocity and information that
Yeah.
is allowing you to see relationships within people that they can't see for themselves. And you have to be their eyes until they develop eyes to see. You're teaching them to see in the dark,
That
essentially.
that that is exactly what I'm doing. And in a very inclusive way, brings the body along, full body intelligence, the reciprocity, all human beings travel most information up through the vagus nerve bottom up. And, we talk about neurodivergence having more sort of like proximity or orientation to that bottom up processing, but all humans are, running this circuit of bottom up and top down. So opening full body intelligence to explore the emotional existential scar tissue, to work with triggers,
Mm-hmm.
to understand it conceptually and then work with it real time. The reorganization that happens in my clients, like in 4 sessions, we can take them out of the ivory tower of their head and start to open up full body intelligence. 4 more sessions, we're working on, the biggest, sort of nodes or, of scar tissue that they have. And
Mm-hmm.
it's their willingness. I don't push. We go, Ida Rolf, you can't go too deep. You can only go too fast.
You can take them someplace they may not be familiar with going, or
Mhm.
they might not be able to get to on their own. But if you know how to work with a nervous system in a palpatory fashion, you can work with nerve points. I mean, this is martial arts.
Yeah.
Many manual therapies, especially from the East, came from a martial need in order to really speed up healing. You had to be able to bring the nervous system down. And so hanging out on a nerve for a prolonged period of time will slow the body and bring them into that parasympathetic, deeply relaxed state, which is where all healing actually occurs, because
Yes.
that means
Yeah.
more blood can get in and more lymph can drain, and you're not getting all these sort of tightness and tension constraints that are preventing the fluid and information flow that is health, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we can do this with prosody. We can do it with eye contact. We can do it with our own speed of speech, but we can also do it with hands-on techniques. And
Mm-hmm.
so, that's really where stream is different than what you do. Is like we rely on the ability to use our hands to downregulate bodies.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
rely on the social engagement system and your ability to penetrate through, even through a screen, to
Yeah.
engage the social engagement, to activate the social engagement system for change.
Yeah. And beautifully put. And that's exactly it, and I'm working with at this time, I'm working with pretty like uncommonly body-minded people who are exploring and discovering their neurodivergence, neuro-complexity,
Mm.
people who do have that sense of inner and outer disconnect, or they're in the throes of transformation. Even groups of people, or like organizations, right? It's like change as precipice of the unknown, and the unknown oftentimes being very activating for the nervous system. I'm working with people and organizations in some form of positive disintegration, one way or the other.
Yeah,
One additional piece to that, I think, is like so many of these people are, it is about the like inner authority and the dynamics of authority within. And so my approach is actually like to treat everybody as though they have something called a pathological demand avoidance or pervasive.
seriously. Oh my
I
god.
work with everybody this way. It's like I'm returning their authority to them to make meaning constantly. I'm not going to pathologize them. I'm not a clinician. I'm not a
Mhm.
psychologist. I'm not going to tell them they have, a certain kind of person. You have a personality disorder. How does that help a person
It
reclaim their
doesn't.
to move forward in the
It's
world?
just another label, right? Getting hit with labels can be as confusing as it is
Helpful.
uh, helpful, and often it's not even helpful. I mean,
Yeah,
how
it's
many
all about
contractions?
how it's used, right? It's like
Right,
this is a shape we can use to understand your unseen difference is very different than, you are broken and need to be fixed by the
right.
outside,
You need to be
like,
fixed
yeah,
by the outside, preferably with a drug.
right, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a different kind of working with this, but the piece around the nervous system at some level, the individual wants to be recognized at some level. The inner authority and the agency and the autonomy is in there. That spark is in there.